Hi everyone, I'm Benjamin. Welcome to my book club. I just finished chapters 11 through 17 of Forge of God by Greg Bear, and I've got quite a few things to talk about. Let's get to it. Okay, so as expected, our three characters are together, but it's in America, not in Australia, like I guessed. Trevor Hicks, our science reporter slash novelist, managed to, by trawling through some internet forums, find some other people discussing an unscrambled communication from Air Force One that hinted towards the location in Death Valley that the president was heading towards. So he made his way there, ended up meeting up with Stacy's mother, the lady that's in quarantine along with Edward Shaw, and met up with some of the other locals of the area, who then had the amazing idea to fly over the Air Force like cordon, because it's not like the Air Force would have any way of dealing with a small plane. So they get intercepted by a helicopter, forced to land. The locals are sent back to the town. Their plane is confiscated and they're fined. But Trevor is invited to dinner with the president, and ends up becoming kind of a part of the group of his advisors, against the wishes of his Secretary of Defense and several other of his advisors, who point out that he's a foreign national, being a British man, not an American citizen, and that, he's a reporter, so it's a security risk. But the president seems to want someone outside of his circle to talk to. The president seems to have been quite affected by his talk with the guest and the news that he's gotten from the guest. In one conversation with Trevor, he even posits the idea that perhaps these aren't aliens, and perhaps this is a punishment from God. He says, what if we imagine God as a superior intelligence, maybe like an interdimensional being or something, and these are his emissaries here to punish humankind for the avarice and greed and violence and lust of the 20th and 21st centuries. Or the 20th centuries, and I said 1996. Meanwhile, Edward Shaw, the geologist, his assistant professors and Stacy are still in quarantine. They've now met with Arthur and Harry and have met with the president, but they've been told that they could be in quarantine for weeks still, and I can't imagine being held by the government like that for weeks. I'm not sure I could manage to do that. Meanwhile, sad news, the guest dies. He passes away. And they perform an autopsy and find a very strange internal structure with sort of like porcupine quills instead of bones, and organs that don't make a lot of sense to us. And that got me thinking a little bit. I'm not sure, I'm not putting any money on it, of course, but what if the guest was never meant to live? Why do I say that? Because taking combination of the organs that don't seem to make a lot of sense, and the guest did mention that the food he was being provided with had all the nutrients he needed, it just wasn't very sustaining or tasty, and yet he still seemed to wither away and die. So I'm wondering if, once we finally get on board this ship, we're not going to find out that the guest is this sort of biological robot created by the ship to distract us or to send the message. I'll be very interested. I'm not sure how much that idea floats, but I'm interested to see where it goes. I think we're going to be talking to the Australians soon. Arthur, Trevor, and the president are on the way back to Washington, where there's going to be some delegates from the Australian group there. So I'm really hoping we're going to hear more about what these robots are talking about down there. And I'm really hoping we get to explore the inside of one of these ships soon. So I know it's only been a few days, I think, but we still haven't tried to send a team in to one of these ships, which I'm struggling with. Once again, I want to know where Europa is still. I really hope I get an answer to that. Maybe I'm the only one that cares. In one of the perspective chapters, we actually learn about a group of religious people in Australia. The Church of New Australia, I believe it was called. Seems kind of like a fanatic, far right-wing, anti-government sort of church, who are claiming that the aliens that the Australian government has announced aren't real, and it's all just the current ruling party's attempts to sway people towards their vote, and that's all a fraud. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. I really enjoyed these perspective chapters. I hope they continue more. But yeah, I think that's all I've really got to say about this section. I'm still really enjoying it. The next 30 odd pages, I think we're going to go from, we're going to read chapter 18 all the way through to chapter 25. That's about 32 pages here, so that'll be a nice little chunk to get through for the next bit. I'm hoping, what am I hoping to see in here? I'm hoping to hear more about the Australian robots. I'm hoping to hear more. I'm hoping to see someone go inside the ship. I'm hoping to see if we discover any more ships. Surely it can't just be Australia and America. I'm hoping at some point the Russians reveal that they also have a ship, because that could be a very interesting like political back and forth. This is set just after the fall of the Soviet Union, so yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. So far, really enjoying the book. I hope to talk to you guys in about a week's time with the next few chapters. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you're going with the book so far. Let me know how far off you think I am, or whatever your theories are. Yeah, check out the playlist if you've missed any of our episodes. Do all the algorithm things like comment, subscribe, and remember to keep reading.